Hey, it's Callan from Authentic Lifestyle Design, and today I want to talk to you about fighting fire with water, or essentially fighting hate with love. Something that I think is really valuable to think about, and we can explore that now. So, to begin with, we all have relationships and conflicts in our lives, and we meet people that we might not necessarily get along with, and that's part of the process, that's part of the journey. Sometimes you can just frankly ignore these people, but other times you have to associate with them. And other times you're going to be around them, and for whatever circumstances, you're going to have to be with that person, right? So if someone gives you hate, or they're essentially fighting with fire, they're trying in one way or another to hurt you or to make your life more difficult, a really counterintuitive yet really effective path is to fight that fire with water or to fight that hate with love. Because you imagine you have, and this is how a lot of wars start, maybe think back in the tribal days, if you've seen my Spiral Dynamics videos, stage purple and red, say that I steal your bread because I'm hungry and I want to feed my kids and I don't have any bread, but I see you've got some bread and I'm desperate, so I go and I steal your bread. Now, let's say you find out that I stole your bread and you get really angry and you want to get me back. So maybe you come and you steal one of my sheep. You're fighting fire with fire. Then I'm really angry that you stole one of my sheep. So maybe I come and I throw a rock through your window and abuse you. And then you get really angry, and you see how this steadily escalates into craziness. And this is how a lot of wars start. It's like so and so killed so and so. Say John killed Tim, who's in the tribe down the road across the river, and then Tim's dad, who was a chief, got really mad, so he came to your tribe and he massacred like 4 people just to get back at the death of Tim, and then you guys get really angry, and all of a sudden you're at war, and you're fighting fire with fire. On a smaller scale in your life, say someone pushes in front of you, or someone does something harmful, or someone tries to hurt you, the response is, say, a more extreme example, say someone hits you. Say you're out and for whatever reason someone punches you, okay? Now, fighting fire with fire is obviously you're going to hit them back and you're going to start a fight, right? That's fire with fire. Now, fire with water, if someone punches you, would be to just look at them and say, why did you do that? What did I do to deserve that? And to be super chill about it and understanding. It's like, I'm not sure, can you explain to me why you did that? That to someone trying to hit you is going to spin them out. Because if people are throwing hate at you, they kind of expect to, or they almost want you to strike back, or they want hate back. For example, you get guys that go out and start fights just to get a response from the other person. They want to provoke the other person to hit first. And they're fighting fire with fire. And this creates wars, it creates conflict on the smallest of scales, which the smallest of scales is, say, 2 people don't like each other, say colleagues, they don't really like each other, and they're trying to get each other by doing these petty, silly things, right? Which is heavily unconscious, but it happens all the time. A more extreme example would be something like a war where people are killing each other and something escalates out of control. And it's times like this where you can spin people right out by just being nice to them. When they're throwing hate at you, when they're trying to make your life harder for whatever reason, just be nice to them. Be super friendly. Not overly friendly, but just act as though nothing's happened and just be chill, be relaxed, and be really friendly to them. And sometimes it's not always the answer, right? It's not always the answer. But it's a good thing to try, and it's worth trying. Because if there's a fire, you can put that fire out with water, right? If you add more fire, if you get a flamethrower and try to put the fire out with a flamethrower, chance is you're just going to start more fire. It's going to spread. It's going to become worse. When if you go and get your fire hydrant, then all of a sudden you can just get your fire extinguisher out and you can give it a spray and the fire's gone, right? Because it's really hard to throw hate at someone if they're not throwing it back. Because, it's very difficult. If you're trying to get a response out of someone and you're getting pretty well the opposite response, it's going to spin you out. And it's going to make you question why you're doing that to somebody. Like if I wanted to hurt someone and I did whatever I did, say I went and I slashed their tires or did something terrible, and that person just came up to me the next day and went, "Hey, how you going? Yeah, it's alright," and just acted really neutral, you'd be quite surprised, right? It'd be a spin out. Now, in saying that, that doesn't mean you have to be a pushover. There's a difference between fighting kind of hate with love and being a pushover, because there is a time where you have to stand up for yourself. There is a time where you need to fight. There is a time where fire with fire is necessary. For example, if someone's trying to hurt you, say someone hits you, then you're going to have your guard up, right? Even if you're fighting that with love or you're fighting fire with water, you're still going to have your guard up just in case they try to hit you again. But at the same time, you want to try and resolve it non-violently. You want to try and resolve it using higher states and peace and love and all these good things. You just don't want to hit someone for the sake of hitting them. That would be a last resort. But if another punch comes and then another punch comes, then you're going to start defending yourself. And then if the situation calls for it, you might have to fight fire with fire, or you might have to hit that person back. Or if someone's doing something that's going to really hurt you financially or socially or in any other domains of your life, then yes, sometimes you do have to fight fire with fire. But whenever you can, you should be able to solve it peacefully. Because it does. Fighting, for example, I had a person when I was traveling Europe that came up and he was really mad at me. I can't remember what I did. I think I did something. I think we both liked the same girl or whatever it was. And he's come up to me one night and got in my face and he's gone, "I really don't like you," and he's all angry and he's drunk and all the rest of it. And I've looked him in the eyes and I've said, "That's fine. Not everyone likes everyone. We don't have to like each other. You don't have to like me." And the look on his face was crazy because he was chasing a very different reaction when he came up and he's, "I don't like you." And I've just gone, "Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't mind you, but if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, and we don't have to like each other." And the look on his face is priceless because he's getting nearly the opposite reaction. I'm just accepting that and just going, "Oh yeah, well, that's fair enough. Okay. Not everyone likes everyone, and some people aren't even necessarily doing the wrong thing. It's just you don't resonate with certain people." And yeah, because I think that guy wanted to get into a fight, or he at least wanted to get into some kind of verbal heated argument, and he wasn't going to get that from me because I prioritize in my life to make it as low drama as possible. To the extent where if something gets stressful enough or dramatic enough and I don't absolutely have to deal with it, I'm gone. Unless I'm there to help somebody or I'm there out of necessity, if something gets dramatic, if I'm in a relationship with somebody of any kind and they start piling on unnecessary drama and they want to play those kind of games, that person's going to be out of my life really quickly. Because that's how it is. And if someone throws hate at me, I'm going to meet it with kindness, right? And if you don't have to associate with somebody, it's easy. If someone doesn't like you, then you just stop hanging around them if they don't have to be in your life. But if someone is in your life and it is someone you're going to be seeing regularly and they throw hate at you of any kind, then it's kind of really valuable to fight that with kindness. Almost too much. It's like you smother them with kindness and they throw hate at you and you channel it through your body and shoot it back as kindness. And it doesn't always work, but when it works, it has this profound effect on people. And in the instance of this guy that said, "I hate you," and he's really annoyed with me, in that instance, when I was like, "Oh yeah, I like you, you're alright," we actually, after that, he was nicer. I don't think we were ever friends, but he was definitely nicer around me and he wasn't trying to challenge me in that way. Because it's the way where it's, as well as that, it's the way where you're treating people nicely, but at the same time, in a situation where there's a fight or something going on that's more serious, you don't cower. There's a difference between cowering and you go, "Oh no, you said that about me and I can't handle that and I feel so bad and I'm so scared." There's a complete difference between cowering and standing your ground in a very strong but loving way. So, scenario A, someone comes up, "I hate you and I want to fight you." And they're like, "No, please don't hit me. I'm terrified. I'm scared. Don't touch me. No." that's going to get a very different response. That's kind of going to play into what that guy wants because, oh, this guy's scared of me. This is going to make it easy, right? That's not going to have your desired effect. But if a guy comes up and he goes, hey, I want to fight you, and you go, well, why? And you get logical about it because he's in an emotional state. He's going, I want to fight you, I want to fight you. So what you do is you pull him into a logical state. And it's like, okay, well, why do you want to fight me? What have I done to deserve that? And all of a sudden he's like, well, you did this or whatever his reason is. And you're like, well, can we not talk about that? Doesn't have to result in fighting. And he's like, yo, I don't like you and whatever it is. And you just throw back, well, I don't have a problem with you. You're fine. Actually, I like this about you. That's a cool shirt or whatever it is. And you just try and diffuse the situation with words. And especially if it's someone you have to see again and they're giving you hate, then you sort of have to stand your ground. And you have to say, all right, well, that's a shame that you think that or that you feel that you've done this to me. But at the same time, you're forgiven. Let's just move on from that. And you treat them nicely. And either that'll have the desired effect and they'll stop whatever they're doing, or there's 3 scenarios. They'll stop what they're doing, which is great. That means that this strategy worked. Another alternative is they'll keep coming at you, and then you're going to have to defend yourself. And option 3 is they're kind of just going to keep harassing you in whatever way, and then it becomes like a bullying type situation. And if it's that repeated harassment, then essentially on your end, that's a problem you have to solve. Because you don't put up with people putting you down. If someone's regularly trying to put you down, you don't put up with that. But if someone has demonstrated some hate for you or some dislike, then being able to fight that with love has power. And it's something I recommend trying. So what I recommend is next time you get in a heated discussion or a situation that could end badly, or someone that doesn't like you, either if you do have to or don't have to see that person again, just give it a go. Before moving on to a more physical reaction or a more hardcore reaction, try to just fight that fire with water. Just try to diffuse the situation with your words and to be kind to that person. Because it does have this psychological effect where it makes people second guess their intentions towards you, especially if they're negative. And they say, well, why do I hate this person? I mean, he's not doing anything to like invite that from me. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, then you'll have to move on to some other strategy. But the times it does, and it really does probably work half the time. I think half the time in my life where people have been like that, just being kind to that person has helped. For example, you look at the Catholic faith, unconditional love. You've got Jesus being nailed up on the cross. And he's not going, oh, yeah, no, stuff the Romans, they're doing this. I tried to be nice to them and they're doing all these things and now I'm on this plank of wood. He's not like that. He's just up there going, you're forgiven. I understand. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what harm you're causing. And I forgive you and I love you. So he's using this strategy, fighting hate with kindness. And yeah, it depends on how you want to approach it. But it is something worth trying, and it's worth having it in your arsenal of ways to deal with difficult people and difficult situations. Because through life, you will find difficult people in difficult situations. And if you handle them well, and you can minimize the amount of drama in your life, it makes things so much simpler and so much more tranquil, and the flow is so much clearer. So if you gain something from my rambling, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel and give it a comment. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, be persistent. I mean, it's 10 p.m. right now. I didn't really feel like making a video, but here I am making one, and then it's going to get uploaded. So, you've got to keep the grind. You've got to keep chasing what it is you want to do. I want to help young guys from 18 to 30 to design their dream lives and become their true selves, and making these videos is one of the early steps to that journey, and the amount of stuff I have to throw on here is just insane, and everything I know is going to be in one of these videos, and everything I learn is going to be in one of these videos. And I'm aiming for 2 a week. That 2 a week's sort of my idea of how many I'm going to do, but where I can, I want to do 3 a week. So if you enjoy the content and you get any value from the things I'm saying, then follow, because this is going to grow. I'm going to get better at this, and I'm going to get smarter and wiser and all the rest. And hopefully some of you can do that with me and come along this journey of lifestyle design and building our dream lives. And we all start somewhere. Like, this is where I am at the moment. I'm in this little apartment in a country town, making good money, but also, living very cheaply and saving a lot of money so that next year I can do some pretty incredible things. But we all start somewhere. You have like a lottery of where you're born and your upbringing, all these things you can't control. But once you're an adult, it's sort of in your hands. You can't control the cards you were dealt, but you can now control how you play them. Your past happened. Your past has forged who you are now. But who do you want to become, and what do you have to do to become that? And keep those things into consideration. Enjoy the rest of your day.